most of the things that you got picked on growing up or the things you hated about growing up are like why photographers want to book you now. Like that's what stands out to them. That's the craziest thing to me. Like weirdest things. I'm trying to think. Maybe like my forehead. Like I don't have any insecurities because I don't know what people said bothered me. But I'll say like the things that people did say growing up are definitely things that photographers like love now or want me to keep natural now. So it's definitely cool. I would say like.
This show is brought to you by foryourwear.com. Foryourwear.com is the home of many podcasters' merchandise, including myself. You can go right on there and get shirts such as you can go get a shirt from those wrestling girls. Right now they have the Summer Slay shirts if you're a wrestling fan and you know your lady likes wrestling and she wants to wear a SummerSlam style shirt, but Summer Slay, you can get those. They also have a Juneteenth collection because we celebrate Juneteenth in June, but why not wear the shirt all year round? And they have a couple other shirts like the Black Lives Matter, Butt Guard, and more. Plus, you can get your Breaking Through Glass Ceilings merch from there as well as from other podcasters. So go to foryourwear.com and let them know Brian H. Waters sent you. So, y'all may know a few months ago, I had the honor of accomplishing a goal that I didn't know I had, but that was being involved in a professional wrestling match. I was a special guest referee for the Bodega Street fight between Jay Bougie and Reverend Ron Hunt. Well, during that match, there was a valet by the name of Shayla, who's today's guest, who decided to get involved. And when she got involved in the match, she went through a door. But nonetheless, you know, that was all in the wrestling world. We say kayfabe. Me and Jay Bougie or John are good friends, and Shayla, we're all good friends, right? So she is not only a wrestling valet, but she's also a model. So today she comes on this episode of Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling to talk about her modeling career and just things she learned about herself and advice that she can give to people. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on this week's episode of Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling is Shayla. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this week's episode of Breaking Through the Glass Ceiling, I have professional wrestling manager, valet, and model outside of wrestling, the one and only Miss Shayla. Shayla, how you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. First and foremost, I always like to do a check-in, see how you doing. How's your week been? When I first started, around the middle of this podcast, the pandemic happened, so I would always do like pandemic check-in. But just because it's over, don't mean it's over the way it should be. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm cool. Today we're just chilling. I got to just order some pizza, so.
Well,
pretty well. I have a couple shoots. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I have a couple shoots next week, so this week I'm just chilling.
Oh, that's awesome. Now you just mentioned pizza. How do you balance pizza in your diet being, a model?
Thankfully, I can't gain weight for anything. Like even if I try, like I'll eat anything and it literally just doesn't go anywhere. So I'm very lucky right now. I don't do anything, but I also don't eat out much. Like pizza is like the only fast food I do eat. We really rarely don't. I cook every day, so.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite dish to cook?
I like pasta, like rasta pasta would be anything pasta I love to make. But John likes like rice and like beans and chicken most of the time, but he loves the pasta too.
Wow. Okay. So now it makes sense that, for people who do not know, like your boyfriend is a professional wrestler and one of the best wrestlers coming up in the business right now. And I'm putting my stamp of approval just to let y'all know I have his shirt on. For those who watching this, make sure y'all check out Jay Bougie on all social media platforms. Buy his t-shirt too. And also buy a Breaking Through Glass Ceilings t-shirt on foryourwear.com. Now, I bring that up because you say you cook for him. Do you have to because clearly, in wrestling, it's a cosmetic business. Are you paying with both of you said you don't gain weight for nothing, but are you making adjustments before he had big matches and stuff?
Yeah, that's something I have to get used to. Like he doesn't like to eat if he has a match. Like he would go the entire day, whether that match is at 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. He's probably gonna have Ritz crackers all day. Like he would not eat. And I'm a type of person who still eat 3 meals a day, even though I cannot gain weight for shit. It's definitely hard for me because I love to cook, so I'm
Mm.
still a female. I feel a type of way when I'm making food, and he's like, I can't eat that right now, or like put it away. I'm like, you need to eat it hot. You need to eat it now.
Mm.
But yeah, I definitely also have to like serve less for him because
Hmm.
I I pile food onto my plate because that's how I eat, and he's like, you need to give me less rice, more meat. I'm like,
Now, do you eat a lot on shoot days? Like, you talked about him and not eating on days he wrestled. When you have a photo shoot, do you eat a lot?
I try to, but also I don't eat a lot for those reasons because for the same thing, like I'll be bloated or anything. But most of the time, I'll try to eat because some shoots will go 4 hours plus, and I would want to like get the photos out. So I'm like, I'd rather eat now, deal with being bloated in the beginning, and then get great photos towards the end instead of
Mhm.
starving the whole shoot. It
Nah, I definitely understand.
definitely shows all over my face.
Oh, for real? What, when you hungry or?
Yes, when I'm hungry, like he can tell. The photographers always can tell.
Yeah. So when did you decide to get into modeling?
That was actually very random. I believe I started during the pandemic, like 2019. My birthday was coming up in December, so I think I did it like January, right before the pandemic had hit. I wanted to do a photo shoot, like a birthday shoot, like most females always do. It was my 21st birthday. I'm like, I need to do a photo shoot. A
Hmm.
photographer had ended up DMing me on Instagram telling me that he liked my look and he wanted to do a collab. So I did the collab with him, and when I worked with him, he was like obsessed. He was like, if you this is something you really want to do, like you're great behind camera, you have great camera awareness, like you can pursue this.
Hmm.
So growing up, I was like, I always loved modeling. Like, of course, we watch America's Next Top Model and stuff like that, but I never really like thought I would pursue it. It was just like, oh yeah, I'll practice my model poses in the mirror and let it go. But after that photo shoot, it was really good, and I was like, I think I can pursue this. So during the pandemic is definitely where I would say it started.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, who are some of your favorite models to watch?
I would say Mrs. Stokes is my favorite model right now, and I don't have like I suck with names. Like I have them
Oh.
on Instagram, and that's
Hmm.
one thing I have to be good at is like I suck with names, but I haven't like looked at any models right now that I like um, inspire me. I mostly just I do like a lot of cosplay and a lot of like shoots that I want to do. Like if a holiday's coming up or if I just get an idea. So I'm really like just learning how like what my style modeling style is now.
Yeah. Okay. And when did you decide? For those who do not know, when did you decide to apply that to wrestling?
Um, I would say you mean like time frame or
Time frame or just mentality, or when did you guys like decide like, okay, we're going, you're modeling, let's go
there
out there and be a valet.
there was a certain match that I felt it. I'm trying to remember. Mm-mm-mm. I would say about like 6 months ago. I can't remember what promotion it was, but I was standing in the ring and like the hard cam shots when you're standing there and you're just like posing for the camera. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I'm like, wait, modeling, like just work the camera, strike a pose, turn around, like just flirt or whatever. So that was
Mhm.
definitely where I'm like, okay, it's pretty similar. Because in the beginning, he would just tell me like, just go out there and be you, and I'm like, it's so hard. Like I'm used to just taking being cute for a picture. Like now I have to have a personality. So definitely when it was like standing in the ring and just like the dull moments, it's like okay, now I can like strike a pose.
Hmm. Now, you mentioned that you started modeling during the pandemic. Obviously, let's be real, a lot of people started a lot of stuff during the pandemic, right? Like, you can probably imagine how many podcasts were created during the pandemic. And then eventually a lot of them fell off. Like a matter of fact, I was on my Spotify list yesterday and I was going through things. I was like, wait a minute, this podcast don't exist. This podcast hasn't happened since 2021. You know, what was it that when the world opened up, you said, "No, I want to keep doing this." What made you fall in love with it as opposed to just trying it and it was like, "Oh, it's okay." What made you fall in love with it?
More so like how fun it was. Like I didn't think that like standing sitting there and like trying different costumes and like standing there for a pose would be fun. Like I genuinely enjoyed like getting my pictures taken and creating stories and memories and different looks with the photos. So I was like, yeah, this definitely has to be something I pursue long term. And also how Instagram and people in my family reacted to the photos. Like some people are shocked, like this is you, oh my god, and I love those reactions still to this day.
That's amazing. I was going to ask you that next. Like, what was the family support like?
The family support was cool. The only thing is if you are familiar with me, I do like more boudoir modeling, which is definitely more erotic and like sensual. So I was scared about that, but they definitely seen it as art. Like they didn't go crazy like my Caribbean family I thought would react. They were awesome. Like, no, you look great, you look beautiful. Of course, some photos are like, do you want to post that? But I get paid for it, so it's more like, why
It's a
not?
job. Get your
It's a
money.
job, of course, and I love it. Like I still love how I look in photos. I love the attention. I love posting. I love sharing it. I love inspiring people. Like a lot of my family members also like started like trying to look at boudoir modeling, even for themselves, like or for their husbands, or like to print out in their house. And I love that they like came to me and confided in my photographers to do that for them.
That's awesome. One of the things I wanted to ask you about or bring up that clearly you have a supportive boyfriend. What does that mean to you when you're doing this?
Um, actually, I love it. He's amazing. Like, there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh my god, like I can't believe I did this shoot, or I can't believe I look this good, or should I post this? And he's like, go for it. Like, you have to. Like, people are gonna love it. And then the photo ends up being amazing. And he also like comes with me on shoots and like records for me for behind the scenes content. So that's great. Like, he supports anything I do, and I do the same for him.
Yeah, that's amazing right there. I mean, like support will go a long way, especially in this day and age. Because when you don't have it, you know it puts a damper on things. So when you have that support, it's definitely a beautiful thing. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings with Brian H. Waters. I want to let you know now you can have your own Breaking Through Glass Ceilings t-shirts. Simply go to foryourwear.com. FORURWEAR.com. Go to the podcasters tab, click Brian H. Waters, and you can purchase your own t-shirt. Appreciate anybody who wants to support the show, want to show that, look, you rock with the message, you've been breaking through glass ceilings. So go ahead and get a t-shirt. I appreciate you. And also check out some of the other podcasters that have signed up with foryourwear.com and the homepage as well. Who are some of your favorite photographers to work with?
I would say enter the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
He's ENTER Lematrix on Instagram. He's the first person I started working with, and I work with him all the time. Like anything, he's the person I can write at 3 o'clock in the morning to shoot with. Anything I have in my head, I can write him, and we're gonna get it done next week. Like he's definitely amazing. He's my favorite photographer. I also worked with someone by the name of Mag Baez on a video shoot one time. It was my
Okay.
first music video. That one was very cool too. He was like super respectful, and he helped me with poses. Like my favorite photographers are people who like teach me. It's not just like move like this or move like this. Like they'll tell me why they're asking me to look like that or whatever it is. Like I'm big on like learning, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, and what would you say the biggest thing you've learned about yourself and in just the modeling business?
Um, that most of the things that you got picked on growing up or the things you hated about growing up are like why photographers want to book you now. Like that's what
Oh.
stands out to them. That's the craziest thing to me. Like weirdest things. I'm trying to think. Maybe like my forehead. Like I don't have any insecurities because I don't know what people said bothered me. But I'll say
Mm-hmm.
like the things that people did say growing up are definitely things that photographers like love now or want me to keep natural now. So it's definitely cool. I would say like if you're getting bullied or if there's something you don't like about yourself, it makes you you and stick with it.
Wow, that's amazing. Dang, that's a gem right there. And what kind of advice would you give to people entering the business as far as trying to figure out, whether or not they want to do it, how to spot a good photographer or spot, a good agency or anything?
Okay. I would say if anyone who wants to do it, definitely go for it. Like a lot of people don't want to go into modeling now because they think you have to like look a certain way or be a certain waist size. I remember for me personally, I did have like the modeling thought when I was younger, and I looked up like what it took to be a Victoria's Secret like angel, and
Mm-hmm.
your waist had to be like 24 inches, and I was like 17 at the time with a 27-inch waist, and I'm like, how? Like that makes no sense. So it definitely discouraged me, and I like wrote it off. So I would say definitely like don't go by what's on Google or anything. Like modeling is definitely changed now. Like you can be plus size, short, tall, fat, anything. It's great. Like definitely anything, just go for it. Like there's no real reasons why you should hold back. And for the photographer aspect, I would say definitely do your research on them and like reach out to other models they've worked with if they have them on their Instagram page or on a reference page, because there's a lot of creeps out there. There's a lot of just men with a camera or even women with a camera that just want to save your photos and are not going to give you any real like um publicity or any real benefits from the photos. They're just taking photos of you. So definitely do
Hmm.
your research and make sure like they're like a cool person besides just a photographer. That's my biggest thing. Like with the photographer I worked with, I spoke with him for like 5 months before our first shoot, and any questions I had, he was there answering them. He had a ton of references. I actually knew a model beforehand that worked with him on a shoot as like an assistant, so that was pretty cool. Definitely do your research.
Yeah. And do you have any mentors in modeling?
Uh, Right now, no, because the modeling industry is like for what you can see on TV or what you can Google, it's really cutthroat, and I don't
Mhm.
believe in that. Like, I don't feel like you should listen to anything what people say, like, "Oh, you can't be a model if you're not 6 feet or pushing 6 feet, or you have to be super thin." So I don't really like listen to anyone on TV or mainstream. I just like I like a lot of freelance models, honestly, like people who are
Oh,
just coming up now.
cool. And before we get out of here, I always ask people this question. When did you break through the glass ceiling? When you think about modeling, when did you feel the most confident? When was that moment you had when you felt like, I'm really good at this and this is what I love doing?
Uh, I would say when I started, if you go on like on my Instagram page, when I started dealing with like silhouettes and like playing with the lights, I would
Hmm.
say about 6 months ago, a year into my business, into the modeling business, was like the peak where I definitely felt like this is what I want to do. This is super fun, like playing with lights and silhouettes. Like it wasn't just about how I actually look with the lights on. I was like making art. So around that time when I'm creating different things is when I'm like, yeah, this is it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let the people know where they can find you, where they can find your modeling content and everything.
Okay, I am Shayla's Archive on Instagram. That's SHAYLASARCHIVE. There's a period on TikTok, but everywhere else it's just Shayla's Archive.
Awesome. Well, Shayla, we definitely appreciate you for coming on this episode of Breaking Through the Glass Ceilings. Folks, remember, do not let anyone set up a ceiling over your success.